Okay, now we're going to do questions 7 to, not to 12 to 13. We're a little out of order here, but let's just start. Here's question 7. Now you're dividing two things of the same base. Here's the 2's and here's the 3's. But when you divide things of the same base, you can write down the base, and all you do is subtract the exponents that are on the bottom. And that's all I've done here. I can write down 2. I've got x minus 1, but I minus the x, and I minus the negative 2. That's why it turned into a plus 2. Now, I do the same thing with the 3's. 3x plus 1, but I minus the x. Now we just have to work it out. X minus x, oh, that disappears. They like to do that sometimes. Minus 1 plus 2, it's 2 to the first power. Another x minus x disappearing, and it's 3 to the 1. Well, let's write this 2 times 3. It's nice to write it as 6. Okay, let's see. Oh, I forgot question 8. Well, that's interesting. 2 times 3 to the x. Well, we can't do this question. This is just not going to work out. We can't really simplify it because it's just they don't have the same base. So we can't apply the laws of exponents. We can't simplify that question. Let's try question 9. What can we do with 6? We can write it as 2 times 3. Those are prime factors, and it's what we do often. We put things in terms of prime factors. Now, if you have 2 multiplied by 3 put to the x power, both of these things are put on the to the x power. Now, I'm not sure I made this very simple, that I could really simplify it, but I could rearrange it a little bit, because I've got 2 to the x, but 3 to the x divided by 3 to the 1, we can write down 3 and go x minus 1. So maybe it's a little simpler. At least I got rid of the fraction, but I've introduced negative exponents. Doesn't feel too much simpler. But anyways, question 10. When you have 1 over something to the negative power, when you have something to the negative power, it means 1 over that thing. Well, this is 1 over 1 plus x plus y. So you tip and times, it becomes x plus y. When you see a negative 1, you put it on the other side of the fraction line and change the sign. That always works. So, yeah, well, maybe that'll help you. Anything to the minus 1 is 1 over that thing. But if we have a fraction down here, you tip and times, the top comes up here. Question 11. What? Now, this one's a little tricky. 1 over x to the minus 1, y to the minus 1. Well, just what I just said. X to the minus 1 is 1 over x. Y to the minus 1 is 1 over y. But now we can make this so much easier if we multiply by these denominators. If you go xy times 1, you get xy. But we'll multiply the bottom of the fraction, the numerator and the denominator has to get multiplied by xy. But xy times 1 over x, the x's cancel and you're left with y. And xy times 1 over y, the y's cancel and you're left with x. Well, that's a little nicer. I don't know if it's so much simpler than this, but at least we got rid of the negative exponents. That's pretty cool. Okay, 13. You know, if you go 0.008 in your calculator, press equals, you get 1 over 125. And if you put 125 in your calculator and go shift and then look for the FACT button, it'll tell you it's 5 cubed. Well, there you're going to have your answer because you've got 1 over 5 to the 3, but you go 1 over 3 times 3, that's 5 to the 1. You leave it right down there. The answer must be 1 over 5.